So on wiwibloggs, we like to review awkward or funny interview moments from the past. We're unlocking the vault of wiwi. And so we're going to go around right now and each relive an awkward or funny interview moment. Angus.
So it was March this year, and we just got to Sweden for Melfest. We were at the welcome party in this great big tattoo sun. And this blonde woman walks in, and she's kind of dressed down casual. And then Jacob just leans over and is like, "Oh my god, that's Jessica Andersson!" And we were like, "Quick, right, we'll get her first." We were obviously there to walk over, so I'm just thinking it's something cool to say, and I'll be like, "Oh, her staging is quite minimal because she's just got like a gold dress and pink lights, and she's out there doing it for the traditional old showgirls with a big ballad." So we're just like, "So Jessica, your staging is very minimalist. Why did you do that?" And she's like, "Well, I have my dress, and I have my lights, and I have my cardboard." And, I don't think it's minimalist. I think it's very, powerful.
And the staging is quite minimalist, so do you like letting the song speak for itself?
Yes, and the dress, and, the lights and the colors and everything.
And she was so passive-aggressive with it. She was really kind of offended. And I meant minimalist as a good thing, so I was like, oh, it's brave. You've just got your ballad, you can't hurt me now. They can't hurt me because I've only got lights and a gold dress on. And she was really angry. And it was just like, oh.
Yeah, it's funny you bring up Jessica Andersson because I also had an awkward moment with Jessica Andersson. And obviously she participated with Fame at Eurovision a few years ago and did quite well. And she was quite well known from the reality show she competed on. I forget the name. Was it called Fame Factory even? It was something. Yeah. But on that show, she actually left early because she was pregnant. And so she couldn't stay through to the completion of the show. And so she was really well known in Sweden as a point. So I guess she's used to people recognizing her. Anyways, Angus and I were standing in a hotel, the official hotel at Melodifestivalen, and we were waiting for John Henrik Falgren's PR person, Johanna, to meet us in the room. And now I go up to this woman, because I just, for some reason, I thought she was Johanna because she looked vaguely familiar. I'm like, oh, are you Johanna? And she goes, no, I'm Jessica Andersson. And the reason this was awkward is because Jessica Andersson on stage does not look like Jessica Andersson in hotel lobby. It's like a different person, and she looks great in both scenarios. In any event, so she seems slightly offended. So now you have to fast forward to after Melodifestivalen. So all the contestants line up in the back of Friends Arena. Is it Friends? Yeah, it's Friends Arena. And, you get 2 or 3 minutes to talk to them. And so Jessica Andersson is wearing her gold dress. And so I run up to her and I say, Jessica Andersson, go for gold. And I didn't mean this to be offensive, but then I realized she finished next to last.
Go for gold, it's Jessica Andersson.
Hello.
And so it could have been taken as, oh, you're mocking me. It was not, because I actually really liked her song by the end of it. And then, the interview goes on and I ask her, I say, oh, what was it like up there on stage? The audience was really with you. And she throws a little bit of shade. This is what she said.
Well, it was more fun to win in 2003, of course.
It's we know you won Melodifestivalen back in the day. I mean, or whatever. Got to go to Eurovision. Don't throw shade at me. Porrick!
Well, mine has to be, it was one of my first ever interviews, but it was with Trijntje. And it was my first interview in Eurovision, which was completely different to anything I'd done before because there's a lot more stress and there's people queuing up to get in. So even to get in the door is kind of stress when you've never done it before. And anyways, you walk in, there's a PR woman, and she's 3 questions only. And then there's 2 men standing over Trijntje. One is holding the kind of reflective mirror thing, and another man is holding a big light. And none of the other acts had this, but it's to show Trijntje looking as beautiful as possible, I suppose. And you're standing there, and then you sit down, and they're angling you, and they're making sure the camera has the best shot of Trijntje. And then Trijntje is glaring at you. And then I was beforehand, I better try and make sure with her that I get her name right. So I was is your name's Trijntje Oosterhuis or whatever? And then she's she pronounces it in the Dutch way, and I'm okay. And then Annie was going to the interview, and she's looking at me really intimidating. And then my brain kind of goes blank. And then I think in my head, oh, well, I have to ask her about the dress because in her first rehearsal, you didn't see it in the final stage, but in her first rehearsal, she had this dress that was cut wide open and her breasts were almost falling down and you can see her tummy and all this kind of stuff. And then it was kind of a monosyllabic answer of yes, I like my dress or something like that. I can't remember, it's nearly blackout. And then that, oh, the dress speaks for itself is basically what she was saying.
And the first thing everyone noticed was the dress. So could you tell us a little bit about the dress?
You have to look at it. There's nothing more I can say.
And then kind of, I was like, okay, I'll ask her for the staging. And her staging was a lot darker. But in my head, I decided, what word did I say this? And I go, your staging's very morbid. And and like that didn't help things.
And could you tell us a bit about your staging? You have kind of a darker, more morbid kind of feel compared to your video, which is very light and frivolous.
Yeah, but we are working on it. This is the first rehearsal, so there's still a lot to build.
And then like I was conscious that year one had been like 3 questions only. And then like I nearly wanted to run out of this, and it felt like I was in there for ages, and like it was less than 2 minutes, it turned out. But yes, it was kind of an eventful first interview.
Walk along, Porrig. Walk along. So I'm going to cheat because I know I talked about Jessica Andersson, but my awkward/funny interview this time will be from Moldova's selection in 2014. So Jakob and I from wiwibloggs had gone, and there was a woman named Lucia S, and she was wearing this like snow white dress with an electric red heart that would beat throughout the performance, and she had 2 interpretive modern dancers like going like this, like very sexual kind of, you know, I think you could even see their stomachs. They had hoodies, and her song, the lyrics, it was EDM, it was very dance, and the lyrics were like, I'm frozen without your love, like, you know, this was like obviously a love song. And so I ask her, I say, Lucia, what's your song about? And she goes, it's about social media.
Communication must be live. Without the telephone, without this, it's okay, internet, it's very good. The net is very good, but it's better when you see each other.
And I'm like, what? How is this about Facebook and Twitter? And then she goes on this long, you know, message for Europe about how we are frozen at our computers. And I guess it sort of made sense. And then she, you know, she got all philosophical, and she was like, you know, we're born alone and we die alone.
People, we are alone when we're born and we are alone when we die.
I was starting to feel real like, where am I? What's going on? I'm in Chisinau. This woman's talking about death. And then she runs off to pray at a church. Like, she tells me, I gotta go. I got a date with God.
I'll pray, first of all. Yes, now I have to go to the church because I do it every time.
And, you know, it was one of these, like, very, I don't know, I want to say Moldovan, like, very special, funny, haha moments. She didn't win, unfortunately, but I'm hoping she'll be back because she's hilarious.